Righto, g'day everybody. I'm going to be shooting another video, another really quick one in sort of that series of some quick supplement class videos to make up for our inability to do face-to-face at the moment. So what I'll be doing in this video is just having a quick look at some fibre cement sheet cladding. So I went on site yesterday to cover brick veneer, so you should have seen that video by now. And the other cladding option we have to look for in our research project number one is fibre cement sheet cladding. So, namely the Hardy's Prime Line weatherboard. Not that I'm advocating for Hardy's products at all, but I just narrow it down to one product, so everybody's researching the same thing, basically. But there are plenty of things that you can do with fibre cement sheet. So this here is actually that Prime Line weatherboard that you're requested to research for your project. So it has this sort of profile. If I stick it sideways to the camera, you'll see we've got a bit of a recess there, and then we end up having a whole series of boards laid on top of each other to produce a wall cladding that looks like this. So fibre cement sheet made up of cellulose fibre and cement and fine aggregate to produce something which is actually really quite hard, quite firm, quite rigid. So you be struggling to well, I could probably break it with my hands if I really tried. Don't want to because it's our only sample. But yeah, really quite hard and quite durable. Much tougher than some of the. There are most certainly cheaper products on the market that are a little bit weaker, and some older products a little bit weaker as well. But a lot of your sort of upper end, higher quality fibre cement sheet wall claddings are really quite durable and have that ability to be quite durable. One thing they are not is the obviously, given their really thin profile, they don't have much in the way of thermal mass, so they're not going to heat up and cool down slowly. They'll actually heat up and cool down quite rapidly, so they won't retain any sort of warmth in winter or so. But the benefits of that are that, particularly in warmer climates, they cool down really quickly in the evening, not keeping the house hot overnight. The other consideration with fibre cement sheet cladding, particularly in a weatherboard type product, is you don't get perfect sealing around the gaps. So whilst it complies with bushfire prone areas, because we've got gaps less than 3 millimetres, what it doesn't do is it doesn't provide that air barrier and create air pockets so much, so we don't get quite the insulative value of some other forms of cladding. A type of cladding, fibre cement sheet cladding, that does do that, however, is something like this. So this is a solid sheet. It's a 9mm thick sheet. This one, actually, not sure of the brand of that, whether this one's Hardy's or CSR. I know the CSR product is called Bearstone. The Hardy's version or the BGC version, I'm not quite sure on the namings of those. BGC is one of the. It's InRaw actually, BGC one. Anyhow, it's a fibre cement sheet product that has that sort of concrete panel look to it that doesn't require any painting or other forms of sealing. So a very, very low maintenance product, and that actually has what's called an express joint, where you have panels set approximately 8 to 10 millimetres apart with a EPDM foam tape between the two to create that seal. So this type of fibre cement sheet cladding actually does seal a little bit better against the weather. Anyhow, back to things like our Prime Line boards. So relatively durable, but does require painting. Fairly smooth surface on that. Very low embodied energy. Fairly high embodied energy per cubic metre, of course, but because we use very few cubic metres on the house, given its very thin profile, overall very low embodied energy. Also fairly low cost product, so low cost to purchase and very quick installation, but also the other cost that it imposes on the dwelling, because it's a very lightweight product, means you don't need to have as significant footings, so much lighter footings, so you save on excavation, concrete and steel in the concrete slab footings, because of the lightweight nature of the dwelling. Because, you know, as you can appreciate, per square metre of surface area, it's going to be much lighter than your brickwork, for example. Life cycle analysis. So yes, you know, cellulose fibre is a natural product, and cement, you've got the extraction, etc. It is possible to recycle, but not highly recycled. It's not a product which is often recycled, despite the fact that it can be, simply because of the I guess the volumes that we deal with, and the impetus to recycle them. So that's the weatherboard type, and also you get weatherboard type panels. So it's a larger section that clip together. So you see there we've got this thinner edge here that will clip over top of this thin edge. So very quick to install. Come in increments, I think, of 4.8 meters long. So for economy wise, it's good to think about spacing openings and sizing up openings in increments of that 1200 millimeters to work in with that 4.8. And so let's 4.8 divided by 2, 2.4. So if we had, what was that? So 7.2 meter long wall, we could use 1.5 sheets of that, and then stagger our sheet joints through the wall, creating a good look, but then also being very economical with materials. So that's a cost consideration there. Other fibre cement sheet products. So not something I think particularly in vogue. What is this one called? Panel clad stucco. So obviously it has that traditional stucco look, but yeah, and thinner sheet than say your in-raw or your bare stone. So your in-raw or bare stone comes in 9mm sheet. This is a 6mm sheet, so much lighter product. Doesn't quite have the strength there and the impact resistance, but very quick, simple, and cheap to install. Other fibre cement sheet products are things like this blue board. So no prizes for guessing why it's called blue board. This is a fibre cement sheet product. Once again, I think an 8 to 9mm sheet that gets rendered over. So it's intended as a substrate for rendering, and you end up having something that looks like essentially a solid masonry building with a renderer or a texture coat over the top. Other types of products. So standard hardy plank smooth. So once again a large panel product, but with a smooth surface rather than the stucco surface. And other surface textures like this texture line. So it's intended to look like natural wood. And that's pretty much it for the fibre cement sheet cladding options. Obviously, you've got your different manufacturers like Hardy's, CSR, and BGC. So those three. Some imported products as well, but these are the locally produced ones. Each of them with their different products and different slightly different profiles, etc. But all doing fairly much the same thing. So I hope that's been a little bit informative in regards to fibre cement sheet claddings as well, to have a think about that. And hope you enjoy the video, and I will be making another one fairly soon covering roof claddings. Thank you.